Hi, I'm Rafa, and this time we're looking at John Doe through the lens of the psychodynamic theories. The psychodynamic theories give major emphasis on the drives, especially unconscious ones, as the basis for personality. Psychodynamic theories greatly analyze childhood experiences and define adult behavior and relationships through this lens. The main proprietor of the psychodynamic theories is Sigmund Freud, who is followed by the likes of Alfred Adler, Carl Jung, Karen Horney, Erik Erikson, and Henry Murray. Sigmund Freud's psychoanalytic theory defines sex and aggression as the cornerstones of human personality. His sexual instinct is shown in his enjoyment of conducting his murders, and possibly repressed his instinct due to rigid belief in holiness. On the other hand, his destructive instinct or aggression is pointed towards others in his master plan of murders. Because he recognizes his own envy, he probably uses aggression to possibly vent out frustration. This also suggests that in the provinces of his mind, he has a weak ego, since his id overcomes his superego. He could also possibly experience anxiety, which could be in the form of realistic anxiety, due to the fact that he is not coping with the real world as people do. His admission of a want of a simple life can mean that John has had conflict with his ego in the real world, where he becomes a hermit instead of facing the challenges of real life. Thus, he uses defense mechanisms to respond to this. Firstly, he might be using displacement as John diverts his feelings of rage and disappointment to exacting cruelty towards other people. Another one could be rationalization, as his extensive research on theology and punishment serves as his justification for torturing people he sees as sinful. Lastly, it could be dissociation. Detached from the true nature of the world, he sees himself as the harbinger of justice chosen by God. Now, let's go to Erik Erikson's psychosocial theory. Though not much information is provided about John Doe's childhood in the movie, information from external sources and context clues give us an idea on how he might have been raised. Let's go through John Doe's life through the psychosocial stages proposed by Erikson. The first stage is trust versus mistrust. John might have developed a strong mistrust of people because of the lack of support from his mother. Ever since he was a little child, he was beaten up and was even administered shock therapy, which is why he experiences constant headaches. Next one is autonomy versus shame and doubt, and initiative versus guilt. Because of an abusive mother, we can also assume that he wasn't well supported in his early years. He might not have developed the necessary autonomy and initiative to do things by himself, and to try new things as he grew up. He might have developed trauma from his experiences with his mother who would punish him for committing sinful acts that she herself committed regularly. For example, John might feel that he is committing sinful acts when he masturbates. But the thing is, he always sees that his mother has sex with his uncle. The next one is industry versus inferiority. In this stage, it is debatable whether he felt inferior or not. Because he is intelligent and disciplined, it is possible that during this stage he was doing incredible in class and has developed the skills to fulfill his self-image as he slowly moved away from his abusive childhood. Next one, identity versus role confusion. During this stage, it is also questionable whether he actually developed a solid identity he can cling on to, based on the fact that he only developed the obsession for the deadly sins after he let his mother die. We can assume that he didn't develop a solid identity he could explore after distancing himself from his mother. The next one is intimacy versus isolation. Despite the fact that he had a wife, John Doe is pretty much isolated. Since his wife cheated on him, his mistrust from her and his mother must have contributed to his further lack of intimacy with other people. And the last one is generativity versus stagnation. It is probable that his conquest for the deadly sins is his own version of generativity. He even envisioned that his killings would leave a legacy that will be studied for years. So, in conclusion, psychodynamic theories might see the twisted nature of John Doe's personality as a product of his troubled childhood. Having a neglectful upbringing which repressed his desires to sin, he turned against other people for doing the acts he was widely prohibited from doing. Such disdain of humanity and a lack of understanding that we cannot be perfect all the time could only come from a troubled childhood.